Bring in West 2's Bob Keeling now. And Bob, George Zimmerman's bond hearing is tomorrow. You have a couple of late-breaking developments. Zimmerman just met with his lawyer, and we now know his family will be part of tomorrow's hearing.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. We just talked to Mark O'Mara, who said Zimmerman's family has been allowed to testify tomorrow. Now, the idea is to bolster his ties to the community. That, along with his criminal record, are key when determining a bond. And Mark O'Mara says he is confident they will prevail. On a rainy afternoon, defense attorney Mark O'Mara brought to the Seminole County Jail the clothes his client, George Zimmerman, will wear at tomorrow morning's bond hearing.
He's very worried about the whole process, but I think we have built up a trust relationship, which is great, and I think that he's hopeful he'll be out on bond tomorrow. He certainly wants to be back with his family and safe.
O'Mara says a reasonable bond based on Zimmerman's finances would be in the $10,000 to $15,000 range. But the former chief judge of the 18th Circuit, which includes Seminole County, O.H. Eaton, has set bond in many murder cases and says the figure could go much higher.
So he's entitled to conditions of release, and I would think that somewhere in the neighborhood of $50,000 would be reasonable, but I doubt that an appellate court would be willing to complain about it if it was up to $200,000.
In a motion today, O'Mara was granted the right to have Zimmerman's family testify by telephone tomorrow to protect their safety. Their input could help convince the new case judge, Ken Lester, that Zimmerman has significant family ties in the area, one key consideration when setting bond. Are you confident you have a place to put him that is safe if he does get out?
We have 3 or 4 possibilities, and we're just going to sort of see how things work out. Obviously, it's going to have to be reactive to the people trying to find him, which is a frustration of mine, but we have to deal with it.
Now, O'Mara tells us he's not sure if Trayvon Martin's parents will offer input of their own at tomorrow's hearing, but he does acknowledge that they certainly have a right to do so. Reporting live at the Seminole County Jail, I'm Bob Keeling, West 2 News.
George Zimmerman could bond out of jail today.
The man who shot and killed Trayvon Martin will ask a judge for bond in just a few hours. Talitha Vickers live at the Seminole County Courthouse with a preview of what we will see in court today. Talitha.
Well, Sion and Jason were expected to actually hear from Zimmerman's parents. Anxious and ready to go home. That's how Zimmerman's defense attorneys describe the 28-year-old who's been locked up for the past 9 days. And in a matter of hours, he could be with his family again.
He certainly wants to be back with his family and safe.
George Zimmerman's family is slated to go to bat for him during today's bond hearing.
I certainly intend on having some evidence from my client's family to let the judge know how strongly they are behind him.
But defense attorney Mark O'Mara says we will not see Zimmerman's family in court for safety reasons. Instead, they'll testify by phone. And if Zimmerman is released today, there are plans in place for his safety as well.
We have 3 or 4 possibilities, and we're just going to sort of see how things work out. Obviously, it's going to have to be reactive to the people trying to find him, which is a frustration of mine, but we have to deal with it.
Meantime, former Chief Judge O.H. Eaton, who has extensive experience with setting bond in murder cases, says Zimmerman's bond could be higher than expected.
So he's entitled to conditions of release, and I would think that somewhere in the neighborhood of $50,000 would be reasonable, but I doubt that an appellate court would be willing to complain about it if it was up to $200,000.
And as we know, this case has sparked a lot of emotion and caught the attention nationally and globally. All eyes will be watching when the bond hearing begins at 9 a.m. this morning. Reporting live in Seminole County, Talitha Vickers, West 2 News Sunrise.